Welcome. I'm Jocelyn from A Southern Girl's Needs. So I am wearing some cute cat ears. It is my niece's 18th birthday. Shout out to my niece. I just realized that this is the last niece or nephew that I have that is under the age of 18. So I've got all grown nieces and nephews. Man, I'm old. Anyways, so shout out to her. So we were celebrating tonight. And she gave me these cute little ears, so I figured might as well in this YouTube video to give a shout out to Sydney, happy 18th birthday, and then to talk about what we're going to talk about today. I am a reseller. I have been reselling for a while on eBay, Poshmark, and Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, Amazon, Walmart, and I like to provide people with some information on some of the things that I have gone through in the hopes that it'll help you all out, especially for those that are brand new and just starting off with reselling. In this video, I'm going to talk about cross-listing platforms. Particularly, I'm going to talk about what is the purpose of cross-listing, when do you need to start using one, what do you need to look for, and then I'll review 3 of the cross-listing platforms, 3 of the most popular ones that I've used so far, and give you my recommendation for which one I believe that, depending on where you are in your reselling business, you should use. So the first part is, what is the purpose of cross-listing? Usually what happens is people start with a platform. Usually it's eBay. And then they hear about different things. They'll talk about that they may want to start selling on Mercari or Poshmark or Etsy. And they have the same things that are appropriate for any one of those sites. So they're selling clothes and they want to post them on eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari just takes a lot of different things. And Etsy, they have some handmade or vintage or supplies. Another reason why people start to do cross-listing or cross-posting is because certain platforms you can't list on certain things. Mercari, you can't list food. Face mask you can list on Mercari or Facebook right now, Facebook Marketplace, as long as it's not like the N95 or the surgical mask. If you have like handmade masks, and same thing with like Etsy if you make your own handmade mask. eBay isn't allowing masks or anything of that nature right now. So what happens is people understand that the more that they list on other websites, the more that they're going to be able to get better exposure and sell those particular things that they're already selling on another platform, or sell something that they haven't been able to sell on another platform. Then what they start doing is they sign up for the account and they just copy and paste the title and put it in there, and then copy and paste, download the pictures. That's fine when you're just talking about a few. What happens is it starts to get tedious when you've got 5, 10. 5, 10 is not bad. But when you got 50, 100, 600 listings, it becomes way too complicated. Then when you start wanting to add on even more, it becomes even more complicated. And so what people start doing is looking for other ways to list on different platforms without having to go through the tedious part of downloading their pictures and doing those sorts of things. So if you're in that point now where you're on Mercari, eBay, Etsy, and you say, I'd like to branch out, but I don't want to sit down and download a bunch of pictures and copy and paste onto different websites, then you would need to start looking at cross-posting. What are the things that you need to look for? 3 things. Does it have the platform you need? Does it provide the things you need? And then, of course, the cost. So I'm going to talk about 3 of them that I have reviewed. I'm going to review 3 of them that I have personally used, and then I'm going to give you my recommendation. Now, there are other ones that are out there. Depop, Kittyzen, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Tradesy, Grailed. And I didn't include those just because those are just not as popular when people think about cross-posting. They are out there, they're available, but I didn't include them in this analysis that I'm doing. So I'm only going to look at the ones that we're going to look at. And I'm going to look at 3. One is Sellbrite, another one is Vendoo, and the other one is List Perfectly. And I've done all 3 of these for at least a couple of months, so I've gotten some ideas about the pros and cons of each one. And the first thing that I said when you're looking at adding in a cross-listing platform is, does it have the platform that you're looking for? And here are the 3 that I'm evaluating. We have Sellbrite, Vendoo, and List Perfectly. And I listed them all out for the ones that most people are using right now. And I use all of them except for Shopify. I don't have a Shopify account. But I do have Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Woocommerce on Wordpress, Walmart, Poshmark, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace. And so if you look at which one you need, we see that Sellbrite and List Perfectly both have 6 platforms out of the ones. Now they do have other ones as well, but like I said, I'm not going to focus on those. Now, Vendoo, out of the ones that are most popular, they only have 4. Now, you can say, well, I'd want to just do Sellbrite or List Perfectly because they have the most. Well, it depends. If all you're selling is eBay and Poshmark, right, Sellbrite wouldn't be a good platform for you because Poshmark isn't on Sellbrite, but it is on List Perfectly. If you're on Amazon and you want to cross-post from Amazon to eBay, then neither Vendoo or List Perfectly would do well for you. So each one of these platforms you need to look at to see which ones should I be focusing on and when I'm thinking about adding on a different platform. The next thing I'm going to look at is costs. I talked about that. I said that was like the 3rd or 4th bullet point, but I think it's really important. So the first thing is a trial. The best trial out there is Sellbrite. It gives you 30 full days of the full function of their whole platform. There's not anything like, oh, we're only going to give you so much, and it's the full platform for 30 full days. So that's really nice that you do have that opportunity to look at the entire platform. Now, Vendoo does not have any sort of trial, and List Perfectly has 3 days. The cost ranges. For example, Sellbrite ranges from $29 all the way up to $179. Vendoo is $8.99 to $149, and List Perfectly is $29 to $69. Now, looking at this, you would probably say, well, List Perfectly may be the best option for me because even at the highest account level that they have, at $69, it's still cheaper than the other ones that are higher up. I currently am at using Sellbrite, the $79, and then FBA is an additional $19. And the reason why you'd want to add in the FBA is if you use FBA to cross-post onto something else like eBay. Because if you have your inventory in eBay, if you have inventory in Facebook, if you have your inventory in your Amazon warehouse and you cross it on eBay, let's say a book, and someone buys the book off of you, well, you can go ahead and log into Facebook, I'm going to say it right, you can log into your Walmart account and do a fulfillment order and send that in. Now, if the inventory is not in there anymore because it's sold, well, then you're out of luck. So that's why doing the FBA, adding in that in, is important if you are using them, if you're cross-listing on them. Or sometimes if you have something, so that's what you want to do. They do have some free plans. Sellbrite, you can do 30 orders per month. And Vendoo is 5 free listings per month, but List Perfectly has none. And Vendoo with the 5 free is 5 free every month. So you can add in 5, you can add in 5 listings and then add in another 5. So January you could do 5, and then February you could do another 5. And that would be, by the end of February, you would have 10. Now the different price ranges depend on a lot of different things, like how many items you have, what is it that you want it to do, and that's why you see the different ranges and prices. But the one thing that I was really looking for when looking at any sort of program was the all-inclusive, where I wanted it to tell me what the orders were, how many sales were, tell me how much, what products were selling. I want to sync my inventory. So if I sold something on eBay, let's say I sold a DVD on eBay, then it would delist it on Walmart or Amazon for me. I didn't have to go in and manually do it. And the other platforms, you either have to do it manually. It's the ability to delist is there, but you have to tell it to. Sellbrite is all inclusive. You just do it and it lists and you don't even have to worry about it. And what also is nice, all I have to do is just log in to Sellbrite and I'll say, okay, well, I sold something on Mercari because it's not on that platform. And I can say I had I do have Gone with the Wind DVDs, and I sold 1 on Mercari. Well, I would just change my inventory. Let's say there was 10. I would just change it to 9, then make a note, and that note would be included in my inventory to say I sold 1 on Mercari. So that all-inclusive of the complete inventory management, it's very important to me. And because I cross-list a lot of the same items on a lot of different things, that selling out on one thing becomes very problematic. So I do like the fact that Sellbrite, in my opinion, is all-inclusive, and that they don't nickel and dime it, where they don't say, well, if you do this, if you want to add this in, it'll be an extra $20. It's everything. All the inventory syncing, all the cross-posting, everything like that is all-inclusive. One thing I didn't mention is that I don't have any affiliation with any 3 of these platforms. I'm not have any sort of affiliation with them or anything like that. That's just my honest opinion about things. If you're enjoying this, also would appreciate you subscribing and liking the video and giving some comments. You know, if you've used any of the other ones. I know these aren't the only ones that are out there, but if you have any opinions, if you agree with me, disagree, put something in the comment. I'd love to hear from you. But let's talk about some pros and cons, because that's really what people want to know, right? You know, what are the things that I liked about them and which ones, what did I not like? Let's talk about List Perfectly first. The pros is that they do have a trial, but it is limited to 3 days. So you could really, work your tail off and cross list on 3 days and then end the trial, and that's fine. And I believe they even said if you don't like the trial, you could get your I think that was, and then in the trial you could end the thing. So the trial is nice. They do have some inventory syncing. I did not use this. So I just typically just use eBay or Amazon as my main place of adding in stuff, and then I cross list on everything else, just because those are just, especially eBay, just requires so much more than all the other ones do. So I know you can like add it in and upload it and then sort of do all the stuff. So I didn't use the full function of List Perfectly. So that inventory syncing thing, it's apparently good, but I didn't really use it I didn't use it at all. I believe you can delist, but it's manually, versus Sellbrite that just is synced to your accounts, and then they just manually reduce the inventory if you have more than one, or delist it manually. What was nice is that I could cross post on, you just downloaded a Chrome extension and it worked in Chrome and on Edge. The only one it didn't work in Firefox. And the reason why I need Firefox is because I have 3 eBay accounts. And to keep track, and so I'm not having to log in and log out, each eBay account is on 3 different browsers. So my main one's on Chrome, my second one is on Edge, and then my smaller one is on Firefox. So not having Firefox, which wasn't so bad because I don't have that many listings on there, still required me to manually still go through, download the pictures, and then manually cross post because it wasn't, the extension wasn't on there. You can cross post individually or as in bulk, and it works like you just kind of click on some stuff and then it says, okay, which platforms do you want to list on? And you click on the ones that you want to do it on. And you can do them one at a time, or you can do like 3, 4, 5. You can do a whole page of them at a time. The con was it was glitchy. Like I would do, let's say 5 posts for Facebook from eBay to Facebook Marketplace. And I would say, okay, give me cross post 5, and 3 of them would show up. The other 2, it would just stop, and it was just was really glitchy. A good pro is that it does have an active Facebook group, so I did learn some things just by going through the Facebook group, and they do have a representative. So if you do have some issues, there is somebody on there that will provide some answers to you. I did find that they were down quite a bit, especially in the morning time. I understand that you need to run maintenance, but 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm on Eastern Standard Time, when that was often the times when I would be doing my listing, made it really inconvenient for me. Let's review the pros and cons of Vendoo. The biggest pro is that 5 free listing every month. I actually started with Vendoo. That was the first platform that I used because I wasn't quite sure. I had been on eBay and I'd been on Amazon, and I heard about, and I'd been a little bit on Poshmark, but I hadn't been on Mercari. And so that's where it came out with, where I had started on it. And someone had mentioned, hey, there's 5 free a month that you don't have to sign up. You don't have to give them a credit card or anything like that. So if you are just starting out and you would like to give it a try just to see if it's even worth you doing even more, Vendoo is a great way to get started. The con is there's no real trial. Like you don't get to get you don't get, unlimited amounts of post and cross posting that you want to over a period of time. Inventory sync is good. All you need to do is click on, and it'll say like import, and you just click on it and it'll import any of the inventory that you have on eBay. And it'll tell you like, do you have it already listed on Mercari and things of that nature. The problem was that if I was ending listings in eBay and I needed to add those back in, the importing was a lot. There was a lot of duplicates that happened. So I ended up having to go back and forth between when I started to really use Mercari, I'd have to go and have Mercari open in a new tab to say, okay, do I really have this item in there? Because I went up to the highest one and then I went back down, where I only was needing like 25 cross postings a month. Well, you lose your cross posting number if it's already in the inventory. So there was a little bit with the duplicates. Cross posting is super easy. It just imports the inventory, or you can create it actually in Vendoo as well. But it just has a different tab. Like on the left hand side, it's like, okay, here's it on eBay You want to post it on Poshmark, here it is. It gives you all of the stuff. It's very easy. It's very simple. There was never any glitches like List Perfectly had, where List Perfectly opens up a brand new tab every single time you want to cross post. Vendoo has it just listed in its application, so you don't have to go outside. And it does do it on the side. It kind of opens things up, but you could do it on the background. I didn't have any problems with the listings doing over. Sometimes I would in the beginning. I think they were having some technical issues and it seems to be working out. I didn't have that. Sometimes if I haven't been on in a while, I will have to log in. Like, I don't know Poshmark very often, so I'd have to log into Poshmark to make sure that was actually finished. Newer ones, they're dealing with some things. I remember Grailed, I had an issue. I know I said it, I wasn't going to talk about those things, but Grailed was one where I think Grailed is a whole number, and I was putting in decimals, and then I would go back to the listing and I'd see a t-shirt that was listed for $9,000, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, that's not right. And because I was listed for like $999, it was listed for like $1,000 or something like that. So that became a little bit of an issue, just understanding, but they're still working on that. Limited tech problems, hardly ever down, hardly any issues. They do have this thing where it's like, we've got a new application, refresh the page and stuff. So even if you bookmark it, sometimes you do have to go back through, but it's not anything where they're down or anything. You just kind of have to refresh the app. They do have good technical support, but it's through email. So if you need something right away, it's not something that you're going to get an answer to right away. But they did email pretty quickly. I only emailed during the week, so I'm not sure how it worked on the weekends. They are trying to add new things like the sales. When you go to sold, it'll say, well, how much did you sell it for? How much was the shipping? That sort of thing. So if you're interested in getting more ideas on your profit, it'll tell you that. And that's sort of that whole more of the sales inventory things that people are looking for. They want to know the numbers. Sales only tell us so much. We want to know how much profit we're having. In the same sense, I'm a little annoyed by it because I don't use it. And therefore, it's like extra clicking, and it's like, are you sure you don't want to put this number in? And there's like this little yellow triangle on the thing, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really need that right now. So in that sense, it becomes a little bit of annoyance because I'm using something else for to look at fees and those sorts of things. And actually, I'm using GoDaddy, which is also owned by Sellbrite is owned by GoDaddy. But I don't think I get like any discount or anything like that. But when you run your taxes, the government doesn't care that one sale costs you $3.99 in shipping and sale 2 costs $6. They just want to know how much was the shipping cost when you're doing your taxes. And the biggest issue is they don't have Facebook Marketplace. And that was the reason why I went to List Perfectly, because they didn't have Facebook Marketplace. Now, I've been on their Facebook page and I said, y'all need to go ahead and when are you getting Facebook? And they said they're working on it. So, hopefully they'll get some Facebook Marketplace here pretty soon. The third one is Sellbrite. So the pros, that 30-day free trial is really phenomenal and really great. Honestly, 30 days, you could probably, unless you're, listing 50 items a day, if you're just a medium small seller, you could probably get most of your inventory synced up and cross-post it within 30 days. So it really gives you a lot of time to fool around with it, play around with it, get your inventory cross-posted. But you'll probably like it so much you might actually stay. It can get a little pricey, $100. I'm at the $100, the $79, and then the $19 for the FBA. So $100 a month might be an additional cost to some sellers that just is not very doable at this point in time. Inventory sync is great. Like I said before, if it goes out of stock, you can easily, it'll do it for you. You can have that choice though. It'll tell you, do you want it or you don't want it? So they do have some options to say, you sure you want this? If you don't want it, that's okay. It doesn't cost you, you already have it, but if you don't want it, you don't have to actually have it. What's nice, I did have some issues with FBM and to FBA. So what happened was I had some items that were fulfillment by merchant because it was like some books. And I was just having them listed in the hopes that, of course, they would sell before I would send them off to the FBA, before I send them off to Amazon. Well, when I converted them, for some odd reason, it listed them twice. So it will say like, oh, there's something in inventory in FBA, but you also have a copy at home. And I'm like, no, I just have the copy in FBA. It's gone. And then sometimes that in between when that inventory was going into FBA, it wasn't syncing up very well. Or maybe it was because I hadn't synced. I don't remember what happened, but I remember I sold a book and I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't have that book anymore. Or I would look and I'd have 2 copies of the same book. So there was a little bit of issues with that. Cross-posting is super easy, very much like Vendoo. You just click on, it says, which one do you want to do? I say it's a DVD. I say, okay, this DVD's in eBay. Click on a little button and it'll say, where do you want to send, where else do you want to post this at? Okay, post this also on Walmart. And you can click on multiple, Walmart, Amazon, whatever, and it'll cross-post it for you. You just got to update the price and stuff like that, and you want to add in any additional things, you can do that. So cross-posting was super, super easy. The only issue I had is a couple things, issues with weight. With books, sometimes the books would be a pound and 16 ounces or something, and it'll come back and say, you have to change it because it's not, eBay does not recognize that. So there were some issues with the weight on some things. The other issue is with, I don't have this on the chart, but FBA or just Amazon in particular, they don't tell you whether or not you are qualified to, if you're ungated or anything like that. But that's okay. You send it off and you get a rejection and they're like, oh, you're not gated, you're gated in this category. You don't have approval to post in this category. So it wasn't a big problem. It wasn't like it was a big problem. It was just something that you need to be aware of. The other issue was the UPC codes. So Walmart requires UPC codes to list their products, and eBay, for some odd reason, puts an extra 0 on the UPC codes in the beginning. So when I would go in, and that's only if I use the app and I scan the UPC code and eBay pulls that listing. And what would happen is I would go through and I would list it on Walmart, and Walmart would reject it and say that's not a valid UPC code. It's 13 numbers. And Amazon and eBay would have, no, the UPC code is supposed to be 12 numbers. eBay would have 13. They would add in an extra 0. So every single time I go to Walmart, I have to go back and actually count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12. And then usually what it is, it's the first number is usually a 0 that I just got to take off. If you're on Amazon, if you're on Woocommerce and Walmart, those are the only, Sellbrite is the only one that actually have those. So if you are big on any of those 3 platforms, and you want to cross post, there really is no reason for you to look at Vendoo or List Perfectly, because they just don't have those. On the other hand, they don't have Poshmark, Mercari, or Facebook Marketplace. So if you're a person, usually the smaller sellers, usually that's where we'll start off with, is cross-posting on those platforms. So if you're just interested in those, Sellbrite is not for you. Just don't even look at it. Look at one of the other ones. They do have a really nice sales report. Sometimes you kind of get to it and you open it up, you're like, yay, nice. It'll tell you what's where your sales are coming from, what's your 30-day sales, what products are selling, those sorts of things. It'll tell you the orders off of all the platforms that you have. So I don't have to log in, which is extremely annoying when you have multiple accounts all over the place, is to have to keep logging in to see if you actually have any orders. So that's great. The other thing that's really nice is that you can have multiple accounts on the platforms that you sell on. So I have 3 eBay accounts. Now, Vendoo only recognizes the one, my main eBay account. So I added in List Perfectly because what I was having to do was manually adding in anything from the second and the third eBay account. With Sellbrite, you can have 2, 3, 10 eBay accounts. You just have to just tell them what's the login and all the little codes that they do on that sort of thing. Same thing with Etsy. A lot of people have more than one Etsy store. That is the same way too. You can have as many Etsy stores on there as you want to. But they don't have, like I said, they don't have Facebook, and they don't have Mercari or Poshmark. So that is the best thing about Sellbrite. Okay, now for my recommendation. If you're starting out and you are going from like eBay to Etsy to Poshmark, go ahead and do Vendoo. I really liked Vendoo. I'm still with Vendoo. I dropped List Perfectly. I just found it too glitchy. I didn't particularly like it. But I'm still with Vendoo. So I definitely say if you're just starting out and you want to cross post, and most people cross post on Mercari or Poshmark. Etsy, again, they don't have Facebook, but it doesn't take that long to download the pictures and copy and paste the stuff. If you have more than one account, if you have Amazon, you have Walmart, do Sellbrite. It's a no-brainer just to go ahead and do that one. And I didn't really like List Perfectly. So which one do I still have? Drop List Perfectly. I kept Sellbrite. I'll continue to keep Sellbrite. And hopefully they'll add in the other platforms pretty soon. I currently still have Vendoo, probably just because I'm like, well, you know, it's easy. I can always import any of the new listings that I have on eBay. But I'm actually getting a lot more sales on Facebook. And if I have to go ahead and download the pictures anyways and copy and paste the listing onto Facebook, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to keep Vendoo. So after this month, I'm going to drop Vendoo until they add in Facebook Marketplace. Alright, that's it. So, starting out, totally recommend Vendoo. If you're already out there doing some stuff and you've got Amazon, you got Walmart, Sellbrite. If you want to expand more, into and do that full inventory syncing where you don't have to worry about it. And of course, the only problem is it doesn't sync on things like Mercari and Poshmark and the other ones. But if you're heavily on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, Walmart, just go ahead and I would do List Perfectly. And that's what my recommendations were. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if some of the other ones, if you like a little bit better than others. If you tried the other ones and you don't like them, just let me know. I look forward to it. Thanks.